You're probably wondering who I am. Well, today, I want to tell you my love story. You will find my story in Luke 7:37. I titled this poem, "The Woman He Died For." Hi, my name is Mary. My only idea of love were men who gave me attention at the expense of my sanity. I was loved. According to the proportion of pleasure I was able to bring, my body was a constant test in maths. My curve had to be symmetric. The length and breadth of my hips decided if I was for keeps. My weight had to be a balanced equation. My eyes always begged the question, am I good enough? I kept trying to win the hearts of the men I loved, but my chances of ever gaining love in the square roots of their hearts was under probability. I was graded by how luscious my lips looked, how much heat my body cooked. I was a chef, but it wasn't food these men booked. For every gold I got, a fragment of my spirit was taken away. A part of my soul was torn to pieces. I was marching to death's door, but no one saw. I was screaming my heart out, but no one heard. I was in chains until he came. The matrix to all my unsolved equation, the sanity to my mismatched puzzle. When he looked at me, I knew it wasn't my body. He pulled me from the crowd and called me by name. The compassion in his eyes drew light from my mortal frame. I could hear screams. My demons were rebelling. But just a word from him and peace was still. He stepped into my darkness and drew me out from the belly of death. So when I walked into that room that night with my alabaster box of praise, all I wanted to do was to clean the feet of the man who cleaned my filth, my infirmities, my atrocities, and the stinking nature of my sin. But they were furious. They looked at me and called me by my sins. They raised the billboard high of all the men I ever slept with and showed the list to the only man who has ever loved me. But guess what? He waved them away. He looked at me from my present and not my past. He opened the scrolls of my future and called me purity. He washed off the darkness of my sins and called me his righteousness. Demons screamed, hell broke loose, because he placed a crown on my head and called me queen. They were furious. They wanted my soul by all means, so they dragged him and hung him on the cross I nailed myself. They broke his skin and bruised his head with the thorns my sins had forged. He had a choice, but he chose to give his body for a woman who had given her body all her life. This was not the kind of love I was used to. For while he hung on the cross, all he thought about was how to save my life. He was wounded for my transgression, bruised for my iniquities. The chastisement of my peace was upon him, and by his stripes, he paid the price in full to give me a blessed life. He took stripes to save me from strife. Hell was convinced they had won, but that was his plan. That was his plan. To gain victory and give me the crown. So he made an open show of death and broke forth as light on resurrection morning. See, he played a game of chess with death and conquered his queen. And as he rose, he lifted me with him far above principalities and powers. Have you seen my lover? Isn't it amazing that he's dear to me yet dangerous to my accusers? Have you seen my lover? He did not place me on a pedestal to decide if I was worth loving. No, he loved me even before my body was given form. He took upon himself this corruptible body, came in flesh, so he could understand how I feel, so he could love me to my understanding. And yet I cannot understand it. The almighty teacher humbled himself just to study me. The king of gold and silver became a carpenter just to woo me. Asked for my hand in marriage, and when it was time to pay the dowry, he paid in blood. I am the woman he died for. My eyes were dim with darkness, but he opened them at Peniel. I saw the face of God and my life was spared. Behold, the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. For the bread of God is the one who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. So don't be offended that I step into the room with my head held high. Someone died to give me this life. The audacity in my voice is the evidence of a blessed life. So don't expect me to tremble at the sight of death. I have seen death and hell cave in at the sight of my lover. So we do not cower here when things die. He has given me the keys of heaven. Whatever I bound on earth is bound in heaven, and whatever I lose on earth is loose in heaven. So I am not here to exchange words with your accusers. A king's word is a decree, not a debate. Act like a king's offspring and step into this blessed life. The next time they point their fingers at you demanding a price for your sins, look them in the eyes and say, I am the one he died for. This is a reminder to everyone that there is no sin or mistake you can make too big for you to come back home. Please come back home. Home is not a place you run from when you have sinned. Home is a place you return to when you have fallen short. So to every member of this family, I tell you, welcome home.